MIG welder settings can feel like black magic, and people are always asking for the secret sauce, but the reality is there's a wide range of settings that'll work in most situations. Hey, welcome to the shop. So we're going to look at one joint with 3 different settings and techniques here on this weld. So we're going to start off by running hot and fast in a straight line using the recommended settings on my Fronius. Most European machines like this one recommend higher settings than most American machines, and I kind of like how those run. So I have some 1/8 inch thick coupons here, just mild steel that I'm tacking up in this T-joint configuration. I just like to put a tack on each end there. And you could run a push angle, you could run a drag angle. Either way works with short circuit MIG, but I prefer a push angle when I'm working in a straight line like this. I find it easier to watch and stay up on the leading edge of that puddle, and that's really what I'm trying to do. Almost like picture putting your finger on the surface of water as you fill up a glass. That's where I like to keep it, and then I can just pace my travel speed to size my fillet weld. See, so if I had a little bit lower setting, I'd be traveling a little bit slower to get the same size weld, but it came out pretty good. So this gave a nice smooth result, and I like the looks of those, and I like a smooth continuous weld like this because you're very unlikely to have internal defects, and this only took about 21 seconds to run the entire weld, so it's good for production too. Now let's turn this way down and run a technique that's pretty common on TikTok and Instagram, Reels and things like that. We're setting it at 200 inches per minute, which is gonna drop our amperage down from 150 amps down to 100, and we'll just let the synergic voltage follow. One difference you might notice right off the bat is that I'm using a drag angle this time, and that's because I'm using some manipulation to spread out the weld with these colder settings, and I've found that a drag angle is more effective for that. Now, the manipulation that I'm using is to move up to the root of the joint and then up and down across to fill it in and spread out that weld bead. And this can be pretty effective if you want to run a stack of dimes, or if you're welding on material that's a little bit thicker than the capability of your machine, like with a little 120 volt MIG. If you want to go on thicker material, this can give you an option to do it. And you do get a lot of time for that heat to really burn into your material, and it can give you a sound weld, but each time you go through that manipulation, there's an opportunity for a lack of fusion defect, where if it's on something that vibrates around, you could have a crack start there. So you do get that stack of dimes. I'm not the most practiced at it because I typically run hot and fast in a straight line. Let's compare these. In a lot of applications, either one would work without any issue, but if you are welding to a code and you need to pass inspection, those little areas where it isn't tied in are going to be a lot harder, and you have a lot of opportunity for lack of fusion defects that you don't have on that. So on code work, I'd recommend hot and fast. So that weld took about twice as long to make, and the slower overall progression leads to a lot more heat going into the materials. The additional heat input is going to cause a little bit more distortion most of the time, or warping of your parts, and combine that with the slower productivity, and then each one of those movements gives you the opportunity to have a lack of fusion defect in there where cracks could start. I see a lot of drawbacks to running low and slow and a lot of advantages to running hot and fast, but I'm not gonna say one is right or wrong, but I will say that there is some middle ground. And I'm gonna crank this up to 300 inches per minute, which is more like what Miller would recommend on their weld calculators. And that'll allow me to run a little bit of manipulation, but it'll still keep a cohesive weld puddle. So notice as I run this next one, I'm gonna have some manipulation, but I'm not ever leaving the weld puddle. Once again, I'm using a drag angle because I'm performing some of that same manipulation, a very similar movement, but the difference this time is that weld puddle is larger And so I'm never really leaving it. I just advance it and then spread out a little bit, almost like a whip and pause with a little up and down to it. And this can work really well. I'm also moving a lot faster than that last example, though a little slower than the first. And in the end, it's a pretty nice result. Not perfectly consistent. Again, I don't practice this very often, but it works. Now that weld did take longer than the first one, about 28 seconds versus 21 seconds. But under powder coat, you will see some ripples there if that's important to you. And that can help to pace progression if you like that. Let me point out a few things looking at all of them together here. First of all, you can see that heat tint is by far the largest on low and slow, and then it tapers down and it's much smaller when I'm running hot and fast. And notice how well the weld ties in when I'm running hot and fast, or even in the middle case where it's not tied in nearly as well on that low and slow option. So either of these, hot or two, I would prefer, but you can run low and slow if you need to for whatever reason. Now, as far as testing goes, if I were to take cross sections, I'd have to take a lot of them to really hit every part of that manipulation, and it depends a lot on technique, but I will bend them open just to make sure there's no red flags here. You can't learn a lot from a fillet weld break test on this thin material because it just bends open every time, but any of them would be acceptable for a lot of situations. So what would I recommend? I'd recommend running hot and fast in a straight line. If you are just starting out and it's hard to keep up with the speed at like the 350 inches per minute we were running, you can run 280 to 300 and do a very similar technique and come out with a good outcome there too. If you are just starting out learning welding, I have some affordable online courses linked down in the description where I'll walk you through in a step-by-step way that helps people to learn way faster. And if you want a full walkthrough of how to really dial in your wire speed and voltage settings, check out this video right here.